So good morning and welcome to another round of Workout Wednesday. So today what we're going to do is, it's not kind of a workout. I'm going to put that out there straight away. This isn't a workout. It's more, I'm going to kind of give you exercises that you can do to strengthen your hips, knees, ankles and feet to kind of increase maybe your range of motion, strengthen that new range of motion that you may find, so that you can support your joints through some of your other training. So I know, obviously I mentioned yesterday in Top Tip Tuesday that a lot of you have started running, a lot of you started doing HIIT workouts, which is a lot of impact on the joints. And so we need to make sure that they have the requisite strength and mobility in order to support your body through those activities. So that is what we're going to do today. So I'm going to run you through a little warm up, and then I'm going to run you through some exercises that you can do or you can add to your training just to keep everything nice and healthy and strong. And that's how we're going to rock and roll. So enjoy. So the first exercise that we are going to look at for our hips is butterfly pose. So in yoga, this is a pose. You may have done this, but we're going to do it completely differently in order to work your external rotation in your hips. And we're going to hopefully make that range of motion strong instead of just passively stretching it and hoping for the best. So we are going to start in butterfly pose. So just like in yoga, you're going to bring the soles of your feet together. You're going to bring them towards your bottom and you're going to let the knees open out towards the side. So as always, if you find this really uncomfortable and you find that your pelvis is tipping and that you're rounding through the back and that you really struggle to sit up tall on your sit bones, then as always, take a block. If you don't have a block, maybe find a pillow and you can just slide it underneath your bottom just to kind of give you a little bit extra height, a little bit more space, just to let the knees maybe drop a little bit lower and to find that nice upright position. Also super important to note is that because I know some people find this really uncomfortable, they're like, their knees are up here and they're like, oh my gosh, this is the worst thing ever and it's not for me. So if that's you and you're kind of watching this thinking, oh, here we go, like, you know, the first thing is really hard already, don't think of it like that. The most important part about all of these exercises is that you work with the range of motion that you've got right now. So if you look like this, absolutely fine. You can still do the exercise. This is your start point and that is okay. Like, you can still do what we're going to do. Just accept we all have to start from somewhere. It's absolutely fine. We're all in this together. But yeah, I just want to make that clear because you're watching this thinking, what? I can't do that at all. There's no hope for me. There is. Just, yeah, trust me on this one. We're going to get through it. So we're going to find our butterfly pose first. So we're going to sit up nice and tall and we're really going to gently place just a little bit of kind of weight. You're not pushing your knees down towards the floor, not what you're doing. You're just gently, just guiding them until you get a stretch. If you get a stretch without having to place your arms or your hands on your legs, absolutely fine. You can just hold on to your ankles. But we just want to get the stretch first. And we're actually going to hold this for 2 minutes. So I'm not going to sit for 2 minutes and just make you watch me do this because I think that's a waste of time. So if you are following me along in real life, I want you to pause the video, time yourself 2 minutes, and then restart the video. So if you're going to pause the video, pause now. And then press play. Okay, so now hopefully, fingers crossed, you've done your 2-minute hold of this stretch. We are now going to add an isometric contraction to this. So what we're going to do is we are now all going to rest kind of the hands onto the knees. So what you're going to do is you are going to press your knees up into your hands. And your hands, you know, they're quite strong. So you're going to resist that. So the legs aren't actually going to move anywhere. You're just pressing your knees into an immovable object, which right now is your hands. So we're going to start pressing. And you don't want to go to like your 100% maximum contraction straight away. You want to start at kind of like 20% and then really start ramping it up to 30%, to kind of 40%, 50%, maybe 60%, maybe 70%. And then you're just going to go to your safest kind of maximal contraction that you can do right now. And we're going to hold it here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now leave your hands where they are, so they're not going to move. And you're now going to do the complete opposite isometric contraction. So you're now going to try and open your knees down towards the floor, away from your hands. And again, we're going to start kind of 20%. Oh my gosh, you can feel this already. So start about 20% and then slowly work your way up. So we're going to about 40%, maybe 50%, maybe 60%. Maybe ramp it up to 70 and then kind of just go at your maximum contraction that's safe for you. That's the big thing, it's got to be safe. And we're going to hold it here. So you're fighting. My bum is firing up like crazy right now. And you're going to try and open your knees away from your hands towards the floor for another 5, 4, 3. Really try and sit up nice and tall. Try not to round the back. 3, 2, and 1. Now leave the knees where they are. Place your hands back on them and just relax. Good. So if one round of that was enough for you and you're thinking, oh my gosh, cramp city, everything's cramping, then one round is absolutely okay. If you feel like you can do another round, this is your new range of motion. Like, look how much my knees have dropped in, like, what, 30 seconds? I didn't even do the 2-minute hold, so. So, yeah, welcome to mobility training. So, if you want to do another round, if you feel like you've got another round in you, you want to keep your hands where they are, and you're now going to work at this new range of motion. So you would do the same thing again, so you push up into your hands, and then you'd actively try and open your knees away from your hands. And you can do it for as many rounds as you are able to, but obviously if you have done this in real life with me, you probably realised it's hard. It's like cramp city. So yeah, maybe one round is enough, maybe 2 is enough. But I'm going to leave that up to you. So yes, this is your first exercise for your external rotation of your hip joint. So there you go, that's number 1. So exercise number 2 for your hip joint is internal rotation. So we've done external rotation, now we're going to do internal rotation. This one is slightly less offensive and horrendous than the other one. So yeah, we're going to do internal rotation. For this you will need a yoga block. If you don't have one, absolutely fine. Just use anything that's kind of this shape. Normally a book, like quite a big book, is a good choice. So find yourself whatever you need to kind of, you're going to squeeze it in between your legs. So for this, I'm going to show you this way first, and I'm going to turn around and you're going to get a really unattractive view of this, but it's the only way to really see what's going on. So you're going to lie on your back, your legs are going to come up into the air like a tabletop, and you're going to squeeze the block in between them. So you can let your head relax down to the floor, let your arms relax down to the floor as well, and then you can have the feet flexed or you can have them pointed. It's kind of up to you, whatever works for you the best. So all we're going to do is we're going to take a nice big inhale, and then we're going to exhale. We're going to start on the right leg, and you're going to press the knee into the block, and you're going to try and open the right foot out towards the side, and then you're going to bring it all the way back in again. And you can literally do reps of this. So if I demonstrate again, so we inhale, and then we exhale. The knees are staying where they are. Press that right knee into the block or your book, and you're trying to internally rotate the hips. That foot is going to open out to the side, and you're really working to go as far as you can and then we come all the way back in again. So if I just turn so that you can see from this way. So yeah, you're just getting a nice kind of bum shot here, but you can see it a little bit more clearly. So take a big inhale in, and then we exhale. We're internally rotating the hip. So I'm pressing this knee into the block. You can also press this knee into the block as well. And then you're trying to open the foot away from you by internally rotating the hip. And then we're going to bring it back. And then obviously you would do the exact same thing on the other side. And you can do reps on the legs. What's really important is that you work to your end range of motion. So you're working your active range of motion here. Really squeeze the block in between the knees. And there you go. That is exercise number 2. It looks really boring, but it will really help your internal rotation. And something that's important to note is that if you want to increase range of motion in your joint capsule, apart from your spine, with every joint you want to work rotation first, because this will make more space or more global workspace in your joint before you then start looking at linear movements like flexion and extension and that kind of stuff. So yeah, there's your exercise number 2 for your hips, to work on your internal rotation. So now we have exercise number 3 for your hip joint. So obviously, as I said in the last video, you want to work your rotation first to make more workspace in the joint. And then after you've done that, you can work on the linear movement patterns. So we're now going to look at abduction of the hip, which is where the leg goes out to the side. So this is an exercise that's going to work your abduction. It's going to specifically work your glute medius and your glute minimus as well. And those muscles are really important in stabilizing the hip joint, so especially when you're running and jumping up and down. We really do kind of need those, I call them the side butt muscles. They're not really at the side, but you'll feel it in the side, like here. So yeah, they're really important. And I know that a lot of people, if they sit down all day, they get really inactive and they start to get really lazy and they don't fire up like we want them to. So this is an exercise to help strengthen those, but it's obviously hip abduction. So what's going to happen is, the block is for later if you need a more advanced version of this. So you're going to stand with your feet underneath the hips, and you can hold on to your hips if you want to. You can also maybe hold on to something if you need a little bit of balance. This will all become a lot clearer in a moment. So you're going to stand on your right leg first. You want to shift your weight onto that right leg, stand up nice and tall, and then you're going to take your left leg so it just hovers out to the side. So I'm actually flexing the foot here. So I'm going to move my arms so you can see my hips. So what's going to happen is, without letting this hip hike up and down, and also without letting the pelvis tip forwards or maybe kind of backwards, so to keep this, imagine as if it's in like a cement. Like it's all just like, it's not going anywhere. What you're going to do is, you're literally going to abduct the leg out to the side and then bring it back down again. Yeah, so you can hold on to something if you need a little balance, maybe in front of you. I'm just keeping my hands out of the way so you can see that it's not this. That is not going to work, the muscles that you need to work. So you've got to keep them locked, and it just goes out and down. I've done literally about 3 reps. I can already feel this. Yeah, if I turn to the side just to show this, you really want to make sure that the pelvis is neutral. So my pelvis naturally tips forwards. If I was being lazy and I just stood normally, it would be like this. So we want to, scoot that tailbone under, just make this nice and level. And then again, just take it out to the side and back up, so we don't want that to happen. So I hope you can see the difference, yeah? Everything is locked. We're isolating. Everything else is just the hip going through abduction and then back again. And that is your 3rd exercise. So again, I'm not going to say how many reps to do. You'll know kind of how many you need to do once you start doing it. How, hard work or how painful this is for you. If you want to make it slightly more advanced, you can just do it from a height. So the leg would start on a raised surface, and then you'd leg lift from there. Obviously, I'm sure many of you, if you follow all the crazy leg movement guys, you'll see that they do it with their leg like up here somewhere, and then lift it up. Obviously, I can't do that because look, my hip tilts when I have to do that. So yes, that's the more advanced option of this. But be really strict that the hips, or the pelvis, should I say, doesn't tilt. It wants to stay level in every way, shape and form. It's just the hip that's moving. And that is exercise number 3. So we're now going to move from our hips on to our knees. So we're only going to do one exercise for this. It's called a Peterson squat, and it's essentially going to help strengthen your quad muscles so that you can support the knee or help stabilize the knee. So super quick anatomy lesson. Your quads are made of 4 muscles. Hey, that's why it's called a quad. It's made of 4 muscles. So your actual kneecap sits inside the tendon of one of your quad muscles. This exercise is going to strengthen the quad muscles that kind of go to the sides of the kneecap. So you'll kind of feel it, or I personally feel it, like here. You don't want to do this if you have any knee injuries, just to make this clear. Don't do this if you have any knee injuries or pain inside, like underneath the kneecap. If you find any pain in the actual knee joint when you do this, don't do it. Go to someone like a physio that actually is qualified to deal with that. Not me, don't ask me. Yeah, that's my disclaimer for this one. But this is going to work the quad muscles to help stabilize your knee joint. So super important if you're going to do lots of running on the pavement. So for this one, what is going to happen is you are going to place a block or like a step or a book on the floor that you can stand on. So, and you want to be by a ledge as well. You want to be by something that you can hold on to, whether that's, I don't know, a partner or a child. Grab them. Grab them and use them to give you a little bit of extra balance for this. So what's going to happen is you're going to stand on your block or your book, and you're actually going to come onto your tiptoes. So for this, it only works on the basis that you hinge backwards. So this free leg, and it should be the leg that's furthest away from whatever you're holding on to balance yourself, is going to come forwards and you're going to flex the foot. So staying on your tiptoes, you're going to bend the leg that's on the block and you're going to hinge backwards. So I'm staying in a straight line. I'm going to try and tap my heel to the floor, and then I'm going to come back up in a straight line. So I'm going to move this arm out of the way so you can see. So you want to stay in a beautiful straight line. So this would be illegal, yeah? Also this, not going to really work the quad how we want to work it. So you have to lean back. It's not a back bend. You have to stay straight. So really think, hug that belly button in, slightly switch on the glutes, tuck that tailbone, and we stay on our tiptoes as we lower down, hinge back. And then we come all the way back up. And this is your Peterson squat. So obviously do it on both legs. You can decide how many reps, how many sets that you want to do, but that is going to hopefully help strengthen your quads to help stabilize your knee joint. So there you go. So we're now going to look at our ankle joint. So we are going to do a really basic exercise for this. It's nothing mind-blowing. It's your bog standard calf raise. So for this, I'm going to just turn to the side. I'm going to kind of maybe go out of the light so you can see my feet properly. So you want the feet to be about hip width apart. And then all you would do is you'd rise onto your tiptoes and then come all the way back down. And it's just a little calf raise. It's going to really work the ankles. You know, you can hold on to something for balance if you really need that extra support. If you want to work your balance, don't hold on to anything. If you want to make it slightly harder, you can maybe go on one leg. Ooh. And if you want to make it even harder still, you can add a slight deficit onto it. So for that, you would just maybe take a block, maybe take a stack of books, or if you have stairs in your house, maybe you use the bottom step on your stairs. But all you would do for this is, I'm going to hold on to something for this one. I'm going to change feet so you can see a little bit more clearly. So for this, you would go down. So you're actually getting a calf stretch here as well. And then you're going to come from there all the way up. So the block is maybe not the best thing to do it on because as you can see it's slightly tipping. But if you maybe pick the bottom step of your stairs, it will probably be a lot more supportive. There you go, you can add a little bit of a stretch in there as well, kind of deficit calf raise. So yeah, they are your ankle exercises just to help strengthen your ankles and your calves for all the running and jumping that you might be doing right now.
So we've now made it onto our feet and our toes. If you find feet offensive, well, maybe this is not the thing for you to watch right now. So yeah, I'm sorry, you're getting a lovely close-up of my feet, everyone. So we're first of all going to actually work on the mobility of our toes. So yes, this is a thing. So what you're going to do is you're going to press your 4 little toes down into the floor, and then you're going to try and lift your big toe off the floor without rolling onto the outside edges of your feet. So you want to keep the foot flat, and you're just lifting the big toe up, and then we're going to plant it back down. If you find this really difficult and your brain just cannot compute to your feet that you want just the big toe to come off, you can place your hands down on the 4 little ones and just, wow, this is a really close up of my feet. You can just lift the big toe off. Okay, so when you've done a few of those, we're then going to do the complete opposite. So you're going to press your big toe down and you're going to try and lift the little toes off without, so mine did it a little bit at the start, without letting the feet roll in like this. So again, you want to keep the feet nice and flat. And then we're going to place the toes back down. And you can do reps of these, lifting the little toes off, press those big toes down. And you can do reps of this. And again, if you're like, no, I can't do that, the big toe wants to come too, just take a hand and press that big toe down into the floor and just lift the little ones up. So you can use your hand if you need to. Okay. So from there, we're then going to do one more exercise with the toes. So what you're going to do is now you're going to lift all of them off, and then you're going to spread them out as wide as you can. And then you're going to try and place them down, starting with the little toe. So it's like a fan. Then you'll go with the 4th toe, 3rd toe, 2nd toe, big toe. So if I demonstrate that one more time. So you're going to lift all the toes off the floor. We spread them out nice and wide. And then we go little toe, 4th toe, 3rd toe, 2nd toe, and big toe. And that, everyone, is how you mobilize your toes.
So now that we've done the toe mobility exercises, we can move on to actually strengthening the foot. That was kind of a little warm up. I know full well that some of you will have done that video and just found the whole thing hilarious, and some of you will not have even been able to watch that video because you hate feet. The one thing I am going to say is, as funny as you think it is, it's actually very important that you have mobile toes. And I know that sounds really bizarre, but if you are able-bodied and you're able to, stand and walk and run, your toes should be able to do what I just did. And it is really important that they are able to, or else you're just going to take all that impact somewhere else in their body. It may be your ankles, it may be your knees, it may be your hips. You know, you need that mobility and that strength in those toe joints. And I know that this just sounds bizarre, but trust me, your feet are made for running. So you need to make sure they actually do what they're built to do. So yeah, that's just my little bit about toes. I know some of you are probably just sat there like, what? Yeah, it's important. Just please try and do them. Okay, so now that we've warmed up the feet, we're going to do a little bit of foot strengthening. We're going to do some intrinsic foot strengthening. So we're going to strengthen essentially the inside arch in the middle of the foot. This again is super important if you're running, if you have flat feet that roll in like mine. This is what they do when I'm just standing and being lazy. It's really important that you strengthen this arch for when you're running, because if your feet collapse in, you can see that my knees go in and then you get problems further up the chain. So what you're going to do is you're going to find something, maybe going to place this in the dark part so you can actually see it. So just find something that you can grab. It could be a tea towel, it could be a towel, it could be a scarf, it could literally be like a top. Just take top off on the floor and try and pick it up. All you're going to do is you're going to try and pick it up with your toes, drop it back down, and then try and pick it back up. And you can do a lot of these. Like, I would aim for like 50 reps on each foot. You really want to work the inside arch. Obviously your feet do a lot of work, so you kind of need to build the endurance of your feet. So you need to be able to kind of withstand, keep doing this contraction for a long time. So yeah, obviously do both sides. If you really want to make this like more advanced, I saw someone do this where they had a towel and they actually put a 5 kg weight on it, and they had to pull the towel in with their toes, pulling the 5 kg weight towards them. But yeah, just for now, just find something you can pick off the floor and place back down, and you're going to try and do 50 reps on each side. And that is how to strengthen your feet, so the inside arch of your foot. So enjoy. So yeah, that kind of finishes our workout Wednesday for today. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you were able to maybe take something away from this that you can add to your own training. The first exercise that we did is actually something called pails and rails, and it comes from a method of training called functional range conditioning. So this is a type of training that I'm actually qualified to train people in. It's a method for improving mobility, and it's essentially strength training for your joints so that you can hopefully increase your range of motion at a joint, but then also make it strong enough to withstand load. So yeah, the pails and rails that we did in the butterfly stretch is an exercise from this method. So if you enjoyed it, if you want to know more about this method, let me know. The rest of the exercises were not from this method. The toe mobility stuff is from this. But yeah, if you want to know more about it, send me a message. If you want maybe any one-to-one kind of online training in FRC, again, send me a message, let me know. I didn't really want to do too much of it in today's workout because it is very specific to each individual as to what exercise you need to do. And it's also very, very precise in how it's done. And I don't think it can be kind of conveyed well across just me teaching like hundreds of people on a video. So yeah, that's why I didn't do too much of it. But hopefully you got a little taste of it at the start when we did the butterfly stretch. That was from FRC. And if you want to know more, just send me a message. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed today. I know that some of you have messaged me and said that you really do not look forward to Workout Wednesday at all because it's always really hard. But I'm just going to leave you with one final thought of mine to take away. There are two options. You can, number one, you can suffer through an hour or two of training every day and live in a pain-free body. Or you can suffer an entire life living in a body that doesn't move very well and is painful all the time. So yeah, I'm gonna leave you with that parting little, I don't know what it is, a question, a philosophy, I don't know. The Fuchs method philosophy: suffer for an hour or two every day, live a pain-free life, or spend your life living in a body that doesn't move well. Yeah, there you go. Maybe that'll be the Fuchs method philosophy moving forwards. I'm not sure. But yeah, enjoy. Let me know how you get on, and I will see you tomorrow for Thoughtful Thursday, which will be a whole lot less stress than this. So yeah, thank you and have a good day.